Whoops. Hey guys. Ooh. Vlogmas day 14. It's going to be a quick one today. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitch, this is what I've been working on this morning. Reworking this one in oil. I'd already done an underpainting in acrylic. So all the green, purple, well, basically everything from here up is oils now. And all the blue, the planet, the rocks and the gold are still to be worked on. So until the very end of the stream, I wasn't 100% sure I liked it. The more I look at it, the more it's growing on me. So we'll see. We'll have to, see how it goes by Wednesday. But if you want to catch the replays of this, pop over to Twitch/Romany and you can watch the live versions. Don't know. Had to adult. Oh no! That green. It's nice, isn't it? I like the fact that it's coming out very... Well, when I first painted it, it looked like fir tree leaves. Like pine leaves. Yeah, like a Christmas tree. Now it's more Aurora Borealis, but it's still got the same colours. So the fact that it's Christmas star and it's got this big thing in the middle that looks like a bit of Christmas tree, I kind of like. I also like the extra red that I've got in up here. Lots to go, lots to do. I'm thinking I might, now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this area that's a bit lighter might need some pinky colours and some yellows to give it like a nebula feel. Smoky, cloudy, cosmic waves of shiz. There you go. That's pretty much what it is, yeah. This needs to come over here a bit. Oh, hang on a minute. It's still wet, I can do that. Hang on. That is one good thing about using oils. They're so wet for ages, so you can literally just, while I'm thinking about it, I can go, hang on a minute, I think that needs to be... I'm not supposed to be painting, I'm supposed to be doing a book review. But just looking at that now, I'm just thinking, hang on a minute, that needs to be a bit feathered out at the end. See, that's better. That's much better. There we go. Me like it. Put some of that light green. Better. I can futzy around with it next time, but I'm just... While I was sat looking at it, I just realised that that bit needed a bit of tweaking. So... Smoky, cloudy, cosmic waves of shiz. I'm keeping that as a description. Let's move it over here where it won't get damaged. Okay. So today we are taking a look at... Maddie's scratching her back again, I think. Little gremlin noises. She's so cute. You're so cute, Miss Maddie. How are you so cute? Oh, hey, Brenda. Right, so this is the Magical Almanac by Llewellyn. This is the last of the Llewellyn books to review. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to review the Plan Noir. She's actually sold out. She reached the end of her print run and they've all gone. So there's no point in doing a review because you can't get one. So what we're going to do is work together on some of the stuff that she's bringing out in the new year, which will include some Witchy planner stickers, people. Finally, somebody's doing some decent Witchy planner stickers. So keep your eyes out for that in the new year. I'm very excited to see what she comes up with, because she is a practicing witch. And so far, all the people who've brought planner stickers out for witches are planner sticker people. They're not practicing witches. I didn't mention her name yet. It's the Plan Noir, the 2019 Plan Noir, which is a UK planner, but it's sold out, so there's no point in me reviewing it. But I'm going to work with her in the new year with some of the new stuff she's bringing out. And that's going to be very exciting. An actual practicing witch doing actual planner stickers that we can actually use. This will be cool. So, Llewellyn's Magical Almanac 2019. This is, again, way, way better than that appalling planner. It's actually, I think for general purposes, it's better than the herbal. Obviously, the herbal is very specific. I'm sure they've probably got others. Do they do one on crystals and stuff like that? They probably do. They probably do one of these on astrological stuff, and that's why the planner is a bit hit and miss. I haven't looked at the entire catalogue, but they produce so many books every year, it's just a bit ridiculous, honestly. But this one is interesting because it's more like a magazine, and it's quite general. So I have a feeling with this one, with the herbal one, there was a lot of very specific information that would be useful year on year. So I can't really see how they could change very much of it. I haven't had anybody tell me if the 2018 was a lot different. I suspect there's a big chunk of it that's not different, and then the articles are different. But I don't know because I haven't looked at them before. So I'm waiting to see if somebody who's got a previous almanac and has this year's can tell me how much of it is different. This one looks like it will be different every year. And the reason I say that is because it is all articles. It's more like a magazine, actually, this one. It's a very in-depth magazine. And it's got a lot of people that are quite well known in the community as writers. So again, it's got Charlie Rainbow Wolf in it, Natalie Zayman, Storm Fairy Wolf, Kate Frula, Raven Digitalis, Elizabeth Barrett. You know, a lot of pretty well-known names in the Llewellyn circle. I'm going to try not to bend the spine of it, but I don't think it's going to be possible with this one because of the way it's bound. So if you receive this one as part of the... this one is going in the... and the herbal, actually, is going in my Christmas giveaway. Maybe I'll do one here and one in my class. I don't know. I'll think about that. That's a possible idea. I might do that. But yeah, these were donated specifically for a giveaway. They were duplicates somebody received. Andrea, actually. But I like the layout of this one. It's not split into types of, you know, crystals and then herbs and then this and then that. This is split out into earth magic, air, fire and water. And obviously because there's a lot of crossover, let me do the review and I'll tell you. Because there's a lot of crossover between, you know, things that you can use for earth magic. Like earth magic can be herbs, but spices can also be fire, and things like bamboo, which classes a herb, can also be water because they grow in water and stuff like that. So, and then if you turn your herbs into incense, it classes as air magic. So it's a huge amount of crossover. And the way these articles are written, they're very thought-provoking. So I'm not gonna go in depth into all the different things. I'm just gonna tell you a few of the examples. So for earth magic, we've got magic in cats, disabilities and witchcraft, which is an interesting one. I'll just read all of them out because there's not that many. So we've got written in stone, 13 essential crystals and their meanings. Now that's Charlie Rainbow Wolf, and she usually knows what she's talking about, so that should be a good article. Can't guarantee it, but it should be. She knows her herbs. If she knows her crystals as well as she knows her herbs, it'll be good. Magic and cats, house wards and house guardians. We were talking about those the other day, weren't we? Tom-toms. I wonder if it mentions tom-toms. Obviously, I haven't read this. I've just flipped through and had a quick look. Oh, sometimes I wish books had Control F. This is why I like Kindle. How to tell if you've got spirits, how to create wards, how to use house guardians and things. Does it actually say ancestors, fairies, house sprites, house rites, spirits attached to the collective spirit of a house, daemons, natural spirits, animal totems, deities, angels, servitors and tulpas. I think it doesn't specifically say tom-toms, but I think it's generally along those lines. Disabilities in witchcraft. That's a good point. I like that. While most people are fully abled at any given time, many people have also experienced temporary disabilities. When planning how to manage disability in a magical and spiritual context, remember that even the healthiest people are one bad illness or car crash away from needing accommodations for a while. There are even happy causes for temporary limitations like pregnancy. Tolerance and inclusivity, types of disabilities. Visually impaired, visual impairments, that's a blind, what do they call them? I know it's a stick, but yeah, tom-toms are house sprites, yeah. But she's got the dark glasses and a stick, so I'm guessing she's visually impaired. Making reasonable accommodations. Oh, making accommodations for blind dogs. Hand canes. Hand canes. That's the name I was looking for. Outdoor activities. Hold them in firm, flat spaces that don't require steps, steep slopes to access, or a lot of walking. Clearance width for wheelchairs. This is a really good article to think about, especially if you work with a coven or a group. This is a really good thing to think about, but also solitary practitioners, you know. It's all very well having this great idea. I suppose if you are wheelchair bound, you would think about it, but it's all very well having this great idea to go out to the woods and have a bonfire and, you know, do a bit of earth magic or fire magic or whatever, but you can't always do that, you know, even if you are very good at getting about in a wheelchair and you have no problems following paths and things in woods, a bit of rain and all of a sudden there's mud and you're stuck. So, you know, it's good for people who are on their own as well to think about stuff like that. So, urban elemental gardens, creating magic in small outdoor spaces. Witchy business, navigating the online magical marketplace. Rethinking the wheel of the year. Well, that sounds interesting. What's that about? Most of these articles seem to be anywhere between 2 and 10 pages long. So there's some very long ones and there's some short ones. It's like a magazine. Rethinking the wheel of the year. Ah, shifting the wheel of the year to accommodate where you are. Was it a Beltane ritual a few years ago when the priestess began talking about how we are welcoming the warm weather once again, and the joining of the Lord and Lady would bring the fruitfulness of the coming months ahead? Makes total sense. That's textbook Beltane to most pagans. But all I could think about was how ridiculous it was because we're in Central Florida. We're outside, it's in the 70s, and the land is already green and lush about us. Winter in Florida is when a good chunk of the year's produce is grown, so the land has been anything but dormant for the winter. So that sounds interesting, you know, thinking about your own local, what's your own local weather like? Because remember, a lot of these pagan traditions come from Northern Europe. They come from this kind of weather that I'm used to. So I guess if you're in Seattle, that kind of area, the Portland area, the what do they call it? The Grey Coast. That might actually work for you because your weather is like ours. But yeah, for the rest of it, I mean, and also for considering Southern Hemisphere witches, because I can never remember if it's the I know it's the opposite season. I can never remember if it's the opposite wheel of the year as well. I think it is, isn't it? Pacific Northwest. That's what I was looking for. The Pacific Northwest. Thank you. It was close, Brenda. It was enough to remind me what I was trying to think of. Yeah. Pacific Northwest weather is very much like the UK, especially the northern UK. So under air magic, we've got Milagro magic. That's interesting. What's that? It's a 2-page article on Milagro magic. So, Milagro magic. Ooh, pirate's treasure. Dragon swords and genie caves. Oh, you had me at pirate treasure. Oh, shiny things. Miracles and surprises. Shiny stuff. Oh, lots of Latin in this. Charms and trinkets. Ah, and stuff that you use. Most recognisable Milagros are flat charms in gold or silver. They can also be beads, wax, wood and clay beads that take the shape of birds, flowers or other icons with similar value. Think of so rosary beads and stuff would probably come under that. Tchotchkes. Oh, that's an interesting one. I've not heard of that before. Psychic house cleaning. Raziel, the Archangel of Magic. I'm sorry, I can't get my head around people who use angels in pagan rituals. I guess if you're a Christian witch, you would, but I don't know, I can't quite get my head around. I don't know why, because, you know, there's plenty of people who follow Egyptian gods or Norse magic or whatever. I just can't quite get my head around the use of angels in witch stuff. Oh, doorbell again. Hang on, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I know, I hear you. Be quiet. I hear it. I hear it. postman. Good boy. Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, guys. I'm going to be doing an unboxing tomorrow. Look what I just got. I'm not going to tell you what's in it. Sorry about that. I have to answer the door. It's, you know, it happens. It doesn't usually happen at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but ooh, magic hats. Conical hats, I'm guessing. After rituals, the remnants. Oh, what's that? What to do with the bits that are left over? I'm going to be disappointed if all this says is, ooh, let's make some black salt. After this, so you've done everything, you've taken down your circle, put away your altar, wrap things up. Now what? Right, okay. Oh, how to get rid of things that you've used in magical workings, dispersal and disposal, and various different ways of getting rid of stuff, throwing stuff away, food considerations and offerings. Oh, that's quite good actually, because that's the kind of thing that a lot of people wouldn't think about. You tend to just assume that, well, I don't, obviously. If you're a practitioner, you don't. But if you're new to it, you might just assume that, well, you know, I've done all this, now I'm just going to gather it all up and chuck it in the bin. That's not how it works. Reuse and repurposing leftovers. I like the fact that it says use ephemera in your Book of Shadows. Use various ephemera in your Book of Shadows. I like it. Putting food out for raccoons and other garden animals. I like this. This is an unusual take on rituals. What do you do with the stuff that you've got left after rituals? That's a really good... I mean, it might not be a very good article. I don't know. I haven't read it. It looks fairly good, just on the surface. Who's it written by? Autumn Damiana. I'm not familiar with her. But... I don't always adhere to traditional dispersal and disposal methods. As I see it, there are too many impractical and sometimes unethical methods being used, depending on what you're disposing of. For example, it's an intuitive idea to bury salt and scatter it on the ground, even given that salt is both a representation of the earth element and a natural substance. However, too much salt concentrated in one place will kill plants living there and prevent new ones from growing. That's a very practical... I like it. Practical. Practical is good. I use my salt and stuff. I keep it in a little container. I mix it with water and I spray it around the edges of my doors and stuff to stop slugs coming in the house, because they do tend to do that in this country. Little tip for you there. So what else have we got? The Almanac section. We'll come back to that. Fire magic. Finding light. The Witch's sigil. Oh, is that fire magic? Oh, I guess so, because you carve it on... Yeah, I suppose if you're carving it, it would be fire magic, yeah. Enlighten up, a new approach to cursing people. I like it! Yeah, it doesn't actually say people on the end. I misread that. Hello, dyslexia. Party one. Enlighten up, a new approach to cursing, it says. Not cursing people. Although, you know, what else are you going to curse? Let's have a look. What does that say? It's a long time debate in magical circles. Should we use our abilities to cause suffering even when it appears clearly justified, even for the greater good? Ah, it's a talk about karma and mundane magic and voodoo and that kind of stuff, and hexing and cursing and binding and... of course, Llewellyn's is Wiccan. I don't know if this particular article is by a Wiccan, but it does mention Wicca. But when you're thinking about karma, they adhere to the rule of 3. Ah, she doesn't. Karma is neither good nor bad. Like gravity or oxygen, it's a natural force that upholds existence, although its effects may not be immediately observed and cannot be accurately tested in a laboratory. Important to recognise, understand and resolve deep-seated karmic patterns takes lifetimes. Ah, I like this. She doesn't seem to be a fan of the rule of 3 there. I don't like the rule of 3. I'm sorry, I know it's a Wiccan thing, but the rule of 3 breaks the rules of physics. And in my world, the rules of physics win. Magic is just science we don't understand yet, so, you know, sorry. Equal and opposite forces. You can't create energy. You can only move it from one place to another. So therefore the rule of 3 makes no sense. That is my opinion only. So don't start writing me emails about how wrong I am. I'm not a Wiccan. So no rule of 3 here. Sometimes I got to crack eggs to make an omelette. Exactly. That's my attitude to it. Sometimes you got to crack a couple of eggs to make an omelette. I think if you're working for the overall good, you know, as long as you're not, how can I put it? Again, personal views. As long as you're not willfully going out and hurting people or causing problems just for the hell of it, or making up excuses to justify what you're doing, I can get behind it. If someone you love is being really messed about by somebody who desperately needs a lesson in karma, and it's just not happening and you'd like to help it along a little bit, I don't personally see that there's anything wrong with that. I can understand where people are coming from that say, oh, well, there's good things you can do, like protecting your friend and stuff. Well, yeah, you can protect your friend, but that's not going to stop that person. It's YouTube. Mustn't swear. It's not going to stop that person going and hurting another person. If your friend's new boyfriend is physically abusive, for instance, yes, you can protect your friend and get her away from him and blah, 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 and you've done good, and that's all a great thing. But you're not helping the next person who comes across him. You're not stopping him going and hurting someone else. You're not showing him that his ways are wrong. And as long as you're not trying to kill him or something, you know, the punishment has to fit the crime. If the next time he punched somebody, he accidentally missed and hit the wall and broke his arm, or smashed up his fist and broke all the bones in his hand, that would be terribly unfortunate, but it would be a very nice karmic lesson. Hexing him for the rest of his days to be whatever, you know, that's not necessarily, if it doesn't fit the crime, is what I'm saying. And what I do in that situation is not only to make the punishment fit the crime, but the punishment only happens if the crime happens. So like that example, you know, if he's physically abusive, as long as he's not abusing somebody, as long as he's not trying to punch somebody, he's not going to hurt himself, is he? He's basically doing it to himself. You're saying, well, if you punch your girlfriend in a fit of rage, etc., etc., this is wrong. Next time, I really hope that you miss her, smack your hand against the wall, break all the bones in your hands, and you can't use your hand for, like, 6 months or whatever, because it's in plaster. You know. Then it's his fault. You know, it's not you've said, well, if this happens, then this punishment fits the crime. And you deal with the consequences. It's his choice to punch somebody. He could have learned his lesson from the last time his girlfriend left him for punching her and said, oh, well, perhaps I shouldn't do that. I'll change my ways. That's how I look at it. Again, personal thing. How did we get onto that? Commensurate with the crime, yes. Just give them a bit of a witch slap. Exactly. Exactly. The way I look at it is this. If you were a policeman, if you were in the police and your friend told you that their boyfriend was abusive, what would you do? Would you just advise her to get the hell out of there? Or would you encourage her to meet with a victim's support counsellor, perhaps make a statement to the police even if she didn't press charges so that it's on his record, and so on? That's what I would do if I was in the police and I had a friend in that situation. Hey, hey, hey! Quiet now. So, no, I don't use the rule of three. The rule of three breaks the laws of physics, so... We already discussed that earlier. Where am I at? Origins and alchemy of Eliphas, Levi's and Baphomet. Eliphas, Levi's... Oh, Eliphas, Levi's, Baphomet. Oh, okay. The Baphomet thing. I suppose that's interesting if you've just watched Sabrina. Don't get me started with Sam Hain. The inverse cone of power, Hamsa. Oh, so it's got some... What's Hamsa is Hindu, isn't it? Is it Hindu? Hamsa is the hand, isn't it? Oh no, that's how I got on the subject. Oh right, okay. No, let's not talk about Sabrina. Between Sabrina and Charmed, let's stick with Charmed. And between Charmed and the Witches of East End, let's stick with the Witches of East End. Oh dear. Water magic. So we've got ethical considerations for healing circles. Oh, that's an interesting one. Ethical considerations for healing circles. How would you have ethical considerations for healing people? I suppose if you're healing people who really actually are at death's door and they probably would be better out of pain or whatever. Oh, hands-on healing. Okay. Obtaining permission to touch. Grey areas of permission. Hands-on healing. Spiritual healing. What to do when you don't have permission. Ah, okay. That makes sense now. I don't do healing stuff, so that didn't really make sense to me. But so you want to start a coven? Covens are overrated. Conjuring the silver thread, cultivating a spiritual bond with the ancestors of our craft. That's Storm Fairy Wolf, so that should be a good article. And it's 8 pages long, so that should be good reading. Processing grief, that's a good one, because obviously water magic, emotions. Back to basics, self-care with the elements and your tarot deck. Oh, I like that. A glamour dinner party rite. And bad magical breakups. Bad magical breakups, what's that? Please tell me it's not love magic, because it's self-care magic, that's one thing, but I like the illustrations in this. They're nice and simple. Oh, okay. Dealing with things like loss and separation and sadness and depression and how to cope when you lose a magical teacher. Ah, that kind of stuff. Okay. That's okay. I get it. I get it. Right, let's have a look at the Almanac section, which is a whopping... Bear in mind, this is called a magical almanac for Llewellyn's 2019 The Almanac section is a whopping 5 pages long. It's longer than that. They've got the... Oh, it's longer than that. Okay. Well, it's not really. The 2019 Sabbats and Full Moons goes from 114 to 175. So they've just turned it into a calendar. And then the beginner bit, the bit at the beginning is 5 pages long. Okay, I misread that. So we've got... Oh, I see. The first 5 pages of the... Look! They've learned real time zones. Ha! What do they call that? The light of revelation? Is that what Pam called it? They've learned standard time zones. Only for the United States, but they've learned standard time zones. How fantastic is that? Okay, so we've got dates and days, what the different days are and the ruling planets and things, the lunar phases, what they're for, quick guide to the moon signs, colours and incense, and it refers you to another place to get that information. It's all based on information from Personal Alchemy by Amber Wolf, which is presumably another Llewellyn publication. Festivals and holidays, but it doesn't actually tell you anything. There's like 4 dates, 4 lines. Time zones. They fixed the time zones. Maddie, shush. You can't need to go out again. You've just been out. Yeah, that abomination of time. I mean, the fact that they've only covered America is neither here nor there. At least they haven't complicated something that was already set. 2019 Sabbats and full moon dates. That's good, but the times are going to be wrong because they're Eastern Standard. Oh, and it specifies Eastern Daylight Time. So apparently the editor for this and the Herbal Almanac is a lot better than the one for the planner printed in China. It's almost like that planner printed in China isn't really a Llewellyn's book. They've just slapped their name on it. Incense recommendations. Yeah, that sounds good. What's the total number of pages? Oh my god. Luna, just buy the book. It's got good articles in it. Read it. 288 pages. That said, it might be... You're very, very advanced. It might be more of a... Buy the cheapest version you can get and just skim through the articles. (2019) Sabbats in the Southern Hemisphere. Huh. Go inclusivity. So January. Oh, this is not meant to be a planner. This is literally just the correspondences for each in every day for the entire year. So it tells you what sign the moon's in. If the moon changes sign, it tells you when and what time. Again, Eastern Standard Time. Incense for the day, colour for the day, moon phase, waning or waxing, etc. And anything else like first writing day in Japanese and so on, special days. It doesn't tell you where it gets this information about. Why is my question. Why is white for Thursday the 3rd of January? Waning moon, 4th quarter, Sagittarius. None of those have anything to do with white. Can't be specifically linked to Thursday because that would be the same every week. So where are they getting that correspondence from? That's the one thing that bothers me about Llewellyn books, is they tend to put this information in there, but then you're like, well, where did you get that information from? Comes from Personal Alchemy by Amber Wolf. Oh, all of it does. I just read that, didn't I? Colour and incense for the day are based on the information from Personal Alchemy by Amber Wolf and relate to the planet that rules each day. Okay. Thursday, Jupiter. This happens to be a Thursday with a moon sign in Sagittarius, so Jupiter again. White? Again. Where's that from? I would like to have a look at Personal Alchemy by Amber Wolf and see what it's actually about and where she's come up with this from. Is there a method to this madness? That's what I like to know. Trust, but verify. It's got things like birthstones and a little quote and stuff like that. But again, birthstones, there's like 7 or 8 different versions of birthstones, depending on what you believe and where you're from. And is Personal Alchemy her book or the name of her brand or website? I have no idea. I've never heard of her. It just says it's from Personal Alchemy by Amber Wolf. It doesn't tell you anything else. I don't normally buy Llewellyn books, so I'm not even particularly familiar with this, with all the writers and stuff. I've never heard of her. So you'd have to Google that one. Be interesting to see what they say about that one. The origins of an alchemy of Eliphas Levi's Baphomet. Is all I'm going to say on this. I don't know about that. Maddie! Using scissors. Ooh. Inverse combs. That's an interesting one for rituals. Hamsa. Yeah, it is the hand. Hand of the goddess. Again, a little bit of a... It's hard because there's New Age and Pagan and Wiccan and etc, etc. Wiccan is a religion. Llewellyn's is very Wiccan based. But then they talk about things like Hamsa. I have to wonder at what point, and I hate the words, okay? But I have to wonder, at some point, when does that become cultural appropriation? I don't like using the words cultural appropriation. I prefer the words cultural appreciation. I think as long as you're using things in a respectful way and you fully understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, I don't see any problem with it. You know, I had dreads for many years. I fully understood the significance of dreads to black culture, etc., and various different ways that it was appropriate for black culture. However, I was also very well versed in how dreads were worn by Vikings into battle and how the Druids wore dreads, and even, you know, things like Samson. Samson had 7 locks of hair. 7 locks. Locks. There's your clue, Sherlock. I think it's to do with meaning and... Will you shush? I think it's to do with meaning and intention and... This is too deep for a Friday afternoon chat, but that's what I think. I appreciate and understand why black culture is so... Or why dreads are so entrenched in black culture. I appreciate and understand why they are used by the Rastafarians for different reasons than the implementations to do with slavery and history and stuff like that. I'm fully aware of them. I'm also fully aware that white people had dreads too for different reasons, and I'm also fully aware that goth culture has dreads purely for aesthetic reasons. I'm also aware that hippie culture, for want of a better word, has them for certain spiritual reasons. I think things can be used for more than one thing and don't have to specifically belong to any one culture or one person, provided it's being used in an appropriate way and a respectful way, and what you're doing isn't in some way putting down or taking away from or ridiculing what somebody else uses it for. For example, a good example is the Satanist cross. There's the whole, oh yes, Satanists use an upside down crucifix to ridicule Christianity and da 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 da. An upside down cross comes from the Bible. It's an apostle's cross. You know, it's all about intention and how you view things, you know. What's that rule? What's it called? Not Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the simplest explanation is usually correct, isn't it? What's the one about don't assume malice when it could be stupidity or misunderstanding, basically. Anyway, back to the book. I like this book. Luna, I don't know. Honestly, I would say, hey! Maddie, Scooby, Maddie, Scooby. Can we stop? It's a good... Will you stop? You're being very badly... No, you're being very badly behaved. Stop. Stop. Time out. Time out. Time out. Sit. Time out. Time out. Yes, we have a signal for time out for the dogs. If I tell Maddie's time out, I shouldn't say that with her name. Oh no, she's eating, she's fine. If I tell her time out, and she knows I mean it, she goes and sits on the step. It's hilarious. She used to go and sit on the bottom of the stairs in the old house. But here she goes and sits on the step between here and the kitchen. He's like a snotty teenager. He just answers back, "You're not my real mum." What we've got is a good chunk of articles, an almanac that's not so good, and a section that makes you go, That's exactly what we've got, Luna. That's exactly what we've got. That's a great summing up of this book. A good chunk of articles, an almanac that's not so good, and a section that makes you go, I think even you might enjoy it, Luna, honestly. It's not the kind of book you'd buy and keep on your shelf. I would buy this and gift it to someone. Read it and gift it to someone. I'm going to read this before I give it away. Every time your dog barks, my dog goes nuts. She doesn't understand they're on the screen. Oh, bless. Yeah, I would wait till March when it goes on sale. You don't need it as an almanac. Wait until later in the year when it goes on sale. In fact, I would go as far as to say, if this was printed in 2018 or 2017 as well, pop onto Amazon Marketplace and see if you can pick those up for a penny. And read the articles in those, and then get this one when it goes on sale later in the year. Because the articles are interesting, and I think they'll be thought-provoking, even for those of us who are advanced practitioners. I mean, that thing on disabilities, I have disabilities myself, and I think that's a good article to look at, just having skimmed through it. Even if it only makes you think. Even if that's all it does. This thing on online marketplaces and stuff. Setting up your own shop. Using other shops. Representing your community. Isn't it wonderful being able to buy witchy stuff online in the magical marketplace? Not everybody thinks so, and they will not hesitate to tell you so. If you didn't make it yourself, it won't work. If you haven't heard that phrase yet, you will once your shop opens. I like this. It's kind of, some of the articles in here are written with a good sense of humour, and I like that. I think it'd be good for beginners. I don't know. It's a bit too advanced to beginners. I mean, it's got a thing by Mickey Mueller in here. Oh, that's who wrote the scissors thing. I love Mickey's books. She's very plain and simple talking. I think maybe for beginners there would be a temptation to just read it and take everything as oh, that's obviously true. Such as that Baphomet article. All beginners need to learn the phrase trust but verify. But I think for more advanced practitioners looking for, you know, they've done some reading, they know the basics, they've got things, you know, but you perhaps want to get a little bit deeper and look at your practice and think about what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. Maybe just need a bit of a challenge. That's what I like. Just to be challenged by an article to say, is this really what you think? Here's my view. What do you think about it? And I absolutely love it when I disagree with articles entirely, because it makes me reevaluate what I believe. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it, Luna, but wait until later in the year when it's on cheap. In fact, I'd tell anybody who doesn't need it to do that. I don't really see the point in having these as yearbooks. It doesn't really... Why not just produce one almanac with all this information in and all your herbs in and everything else, a page a day almanac, even if it was pocket size, even if it was half this size, that would be a nice little book. I'd pay 20 quid for a book like that, as long as it had useful information in it. Take that bit out and sell an almanac separately that anybody could use, and then produce books like this whenever you've got enough articles to make a book. I love that you price books in terms of how much coffee it is. £7 on Wordery, that's coffee and a piece of toast. I love it. Yeah. I think Llewellyns need to look at how they do their almanacs, honestly. I think there's better ways of doing this. They could produce one almanac a year that's like got everything you need in it. Or maybe one or two, depending on if you're... Or even if they did 4 and it was all like split up like this, water magic, fire magic, earth magic, because obviously earth would contain crystals and herbs. Obviously, you know, that there's ways of doing it that you could, you know, water would contain the lunar magic and stuff and astrology. I think that would be a very good way of doing it. Llewellyn, I'm talking to you. I think your almanacs should be split by earth, air, fire, water, instead of producing these and calling them almanacs, because this is not an almanac. An almanac is a daily thing, okay? They could even put on here, if this was a page a day, they could even do a list of articles, or an article per day from each of the other books that they produced that year that tells you what would be useful for that day. You know, so like, oh, this one's Moon in Pisces and it's talking about time. So in the Herbal Almanac, actually, this one talks about time in this one. And then this one talks about the waning moon in the 3rd quarter and stuff like that. That would be so much more useful to produce an almanac that was a guide to what's in their books every year. Because they produce hundreds of books every year. Stop calling it an almanac, it's not an almanac. Yeah. Produce guides. A magical guide. The 2019 magical guide. The 2019 herbal guide. And then create an almanac that is a encyclopedia of all your different guides that you've got and what relates to different days, and, you know, cross-reference stuff. Please, call it a guide and then produce an actual almanac. Thank heavens I didn't send you the 2019 Witch's Companion. No, I'm always up for it. I don't tend to buy Llewellyn's books because they are very Wicca-centric. I do like these. I do like these. I like this. I like the herbal one. I like the articles. The articles are well written. The articles make sense. They're not too complex. They're not too basic. They've got enough information to make you think about things. They cover unusual subjects. That's all a good thing. But it's not a freaking almanac. I'm sorry, it's not. Stop calling it an almanac. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. My voice is going. Can you tell? I've talked for an hour on here and I've already done 2 hours on Twitch. Plus I've been using oils this morning, so it's a bit fumey in here. And I'm still on my first cup of coffee of the day. I think I may take my empty coffee thing and go and... Hi! Maybe go and sit in Costa for a bit and work on my journal. Because I haven't had a lot of chance to do journaling this week, so I could do with a bit of podcast and journal time. I like the articles. I also had the Witch's Companion on a maybe list. I'm done with Witchy magazines. They don't contain much, so I wanted something different to read. Yeah, the only Witchy magazine I get is the... Oh, God. Can't even remember what it's called. Oh. Oh. Nope, that's my ephemeris. Witchcraft and Wicca. That's the only one I get. And I wait till they go on back issue, and I get ones that have got stuff like this has got Keeping a Magical Journal, which of course, straight away, I was like, ooh! Ooh! Also, magic and witchcraft in the 19th century, because I'm hugely into history, visualization magic, and so on. So these are actually quite good, but they are quite expensive. They are quite expensive. But these are the guys who do Witchfest, so if you're familiar with them, like I say, I usually pick up the back issues, because the back issues are cheaper. Instead of $3.25 for an issue, and it's 6 per year, I think. It's bi-monthly. Soul and Spirit. I used to get Spirit and Destiny, and since they've changed the editor after all these years, I had it from the very first issue, and I cancelled it last year since they changed the editor because she's rubbish. I have no time for it whatsoever. It's quite good for collage fodder, but I don't read it anymore. I used to read it cover to cover. But yeah, this is the one that I really enjoy because, again, the articles are thought-provoking and interesting, and they cover unusual topics. Again, it's very Wicca-centric. It's also very coven-centric. It assumes you're in a coven. But also, it has witchcraft practitioners who do arts and crafts and stuff. You can submit art to it. You can submit articles to it. I think Kelly did. See, this is about keeping a magical journal that you work in and a beautifully appointed book of shadows where all your best work is. I disagree with that, but that doesn't mean that this article is rubbish. It just means that I would put the two together. See previous video on how to start a book of shadows. Again, my opinions. I know Wiccans have very set ways about keeping things and what they put in their books and stuff like that, but yeah, this is a nice magazine. The articles are usually pretty good, but again, don't pay £3.25 each for them. Pick them up when they go on sale. I think I bought like 20 for 15 quid or something like that because they were getting rid of old stock. Because the articles, you know, the articles are never going to go out of date. Apart from the odd one or two that's specific to Witchfest 2013 or whatever, you know. I've seen a few US recommendations. This is a US magazine, I think. Children of Artemis. Oh no, Children of Artemis is UK, actually. Witchfox has a whole list of magazines worldwide. So check out worldwide. Yeah, Witchvox is a very good... The forums are a bit crazy because it's all, no, I'm right and you're wrong. Because of course it is. But the articles are pretty good and the reference material is pretty good. So definitely worth checking out Witchvox to see what's going on over there and what the recommendation is. But they do have a list of publications. So, right, wrapping up there. I'm going to go and have a nice cup of coffee and do some journaling for the afternoon because I've finished for the day. Woohoo! I'm done. Tomorrow I'm teaching and it's a Saturday. I'm thinking I might do another journal with me on Sunday because Sundays is kind of a nice day to sit and do a journal with me. I don't mind journaling for 3 hours on a Sunday as part of Vlogmas. I quite enjoyed it last week, actually. So should we do that? Should we do... Sunday we'll do... Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, I know. Sunday... Here we go. Hang on. Sunday we'll do a journal with me, whether it's like an hour or 3 hours or whatever. Haven't decided on times. Check the calendar later. And then tomorrow... we will do this unboxing. It's an arty unboxing, which means I can't open it till tomorrow. Well, I might open it. I might just open it and just check that everything's in here, because that would be sensible. I didn't know this had even been authorised to send. So I'm quite impressed to get this today. I didn't even know it had been authorised. They didn't email me, they usually do. So, I'm very excited to open this. I want to open it now. I want to open it now, damn it! I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow, aren't I? Go do some journaling. I'll do an unboxing tomorrow. It's not terribly exciting. It is exciting. It looks, the box size looks more exciting than it actually is. But it's also should be very fun. Oh, we'll do an unboxing tomorrow. Haven't done an unboxing yet, so let's do an unboxing. Open it, open it, open it. No, I'm not going to open it. I'll do an unboxing tomorrow. I am going to open it myself just to check the delivery note and make sure everything's here and stuff. But I will. Now, that means, because of what's in here, that means that my Vlogmas will be before. I'm not telling you what's in the box, but it does mean that Vlogmas will be before class tomorrow. So those of you who are asking what time class is tomorrow, we'll be doing a late class tomorrow. It'll be 4 till 6, because I've just realised if I have to wait to unbox this, I need to unbox this first. That should give you a clue. Yeah, so I'll do sort of a lunchtime-ish, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock-ish UK time unboxing, and then we'll do class at 4 till 6. We'll do a late class. I'll change that on the calendar now. Okay? Can you believe we're 14 days into Vlogmas? We've only got 10 days to go. We are more than halfway, and I'm still going. And not only am I still going, I've got the next 2 days planned. Can we do a rabbit in class? No, because I'm painting a wolf. You can do a rabbit in class if you want to. Add it to the list of animals that you'd like to do at some point. Did you see Jane's? Go check out the forum. Go check out Jane's rabbit. She drew a rabbit and it's beautiful. It's really, really... Oh, there's Jane, look. Jane Gizmo there drew a rabbit and it's absolutely gorgeous. Go check it out. And if you're interested in animals, totems and spirits and that kind of thing, which is what we're doing in class at the moment, there's a whole section on my forum, in the free section, in the coffee lounge. Cody very kindly put up a whole load of links and things on totem animals and spirit animals, and people have been adding to it as we go along. So I'm really going now. I need more coffee. Goodbye.